Welcome everybody. I'm Beata, and it has been a rainy, stormy day and night in Florida, but I'm just glad to be here on this full moon. You know, the full moon reminds me that 70% of our earth is water, and 70% of our body is water, or more actually. So just get ready for the waters to rise in all of us tonight. And my guests are going to enlighten us and educate us to stir up the waters in all of us. But let's first take a tour of my tiny house village. That's where we are. And YouTube is working tonight, and two Facebook pages are working. So let's carry on with. Well, welcome everyone. Good evening, grand evening. I'm Viata, and it's been raining like crazy here in Orlando, and then it stopped. So I am so very grateful for a full moon tonight. Oh boy. As I said, 70% of our earth has water, and that's also the same in our bodies. So, without any further delay, I want to bring in our ancestors with some drumming as usual, because on a full moon, you just never know what's going to happen. And we want to be prepared. And we need all the help we can get. Everything is starting to be stirred up in politics, or the clown show is increasing in the politics. And it's going to be quite an interesting year, the rest of the year, I'm sure. So let's get your drums out. Everybody, get your drums out. Let's drum in with Becca Shea and bring in an energy of love, power, and light.
Every nation where warriors are falling, there's a resurrection coming. It's your time to rise and shine. Wake up, you sleeping giant. The wounds of injustice are being healed by the peace of Yahweh. He's bringing us power through unity. Where warriors are falling, there's a resurrection coming. Tribals come alive. Yeah, wake up, you sleeping giant. Your heartbeat, I feel it. Yeah, I feel your heartbeat. I feel it. your heartbeat. I feel it. I feel your heartbeat. I feel it. I feel it. I feel it. Yes, you are. Bring us together. Bring us together. We cry. Yes, you are. Bring us together. Bring us together. Together we cry. Yes, you are. Bring us together. Bring us together. We cry. Out your heartbeat. Your heartbeat. Oh, your heartbeat. This is the hour to know whose side to stand by. Raise up a standard in battle for every fellow tribe. Our warriors are fighting. There's a revival igniting. Search for such a time. Yeah, arise, you blazing fire. Brave, stand firm and listen to your destiny. The rhythm of our Father moves with victory. Where warriors are fighting, there's a revival igniting. So warm, so kind, and our eyes blazing fire. Your heartbeat, I feel it. Yeah, I feel your heartbeat. I feel it. Yeah, I feel your heartbeat. I feel it. Yeah, I feel your heartbeat. I feel it. I feel it. I feel it. Yes, you are. Bring us together. Bring us together. We cry. Yes, you are. Bring us together. Bring us together. Together we cry. Yes, you are. Bring us together. Bring us together. We cry. Out your heartbeat. Your heartbeat. Oh, your heartbeat. Yes, you are. Bring us together. Bring us together. We cry. Yes, you are. Bring us together. Bring us together. Together we cry. Yes, you are. Bring us together. Bring us together. We cry. Out your heartbeat. Your heartbeat. Oh, your heartbeat. Yes, you are. Bring us together. Bring us together. We cry. Yes, you are. Bring us together. Bring us together. Together we cry. Yes, you are. Bring us together. Bring us together. We cry. Out your heartbeat. Your heartbeat. Oh, your heartbeat.
Hallelujah. Ashe, ashe. All right. It is Sunday, July 21st, 2024, or it's number 9. I was looking at the numbers today and realizing, 2024 started out with the announcement, I'm number 8. Number 8 is here, 2024. And it's supposed to be the number of change. And I'm sure 8, Neb and Habib can tell us what 8 represents in other ways. But 8 to me represents new beginnings, change. And I tell you, I met more people resisting change than all my life. It's like, what is it with people today? But today, the moon is full, the waters are rising, and we're going to bring about some knowledge and energy to help people maybe shift a little bit tonight. Because I've got two amazing people here tonight, Neb and Habib. And you two are like family to me. Oh, let me bring in Neb. Maybe Neb wants to come in and join us. Hey, Neb. When I first saw your picture, when you sent me your pictures, I right away like connected, like this is family. Your faces were like so bright and so clear and sending out this energy of love and clarity and consciousness. So I'm like, okay, maybe I need to connect with these two for family matters and things. But so thank you for joining us on Soul Purpose Healing once again. This is a big week as we start a new year, right? This is Happy New Year this week. So we want to talk about the new year, But I want to share something. I was in a 3-day workshop this weekend about thriving as an empath. And it was interesting to hear the language. This young man was from the Philippines who was teaching it. And the language was interesting because it wasn't the same language that I hear on let me just say, if you're on the on-air radio, please mute your phone if you're not speaking, because we're hearing a lot of background noise. We don't have blog talk, so we're on-air radio, and people who come on not know to mute their phones. So thank you. And when you're ready to speak, I'll ask you if you can open up your mic. So I was on this workshop today this weekend for 3 days on thriving as an empath. I learned a whole lot, but the language was interesting in that the only words that were common from what Day Out of Time and Calendar teaches was vibration and energy. For 3 days, we heard about vibration and energy and so much more. But I thought that's the common connection with light workers or with conscious people all over the planet. This guy had 100,000 people on this webinar or this teaching, and there were people speaking from Italy, from Germany, from all over. And it's just interesting to know there is a global movement to raise our vibration and to eliminate the blockages that are interfering, as you talk about, with our evolution. So, you know what? I thought we'd start out tonight in our childhood with helping our listeners understand in childhood what blockages can keep you, or what traumas can keep you from moving forward, from changing, from evolving in this new year. And I'll start with me as an example. My mother wanted to abort me. And so in utero, when she found out she was pregnant with me, she wanted to abort me because my dad had an affair. This guy back here was pretty popular in the football arena, and he had an affair with some model in Harlem, and it was in the Jet magazine. And my mother read it, and when she got pregnant, she got pregnant with me after all that. And she told me before she passed, about 2 weeks before she passed, that she wanted to abort me. And when I heard that, I said, wow, that's interesting, because I made it here. I was like in my 50s when she told me, and I'm like, wow, that means there was a divine override. But while I was in my mother's womb, I picked up a lot of fear and rejection. And so most of my adult life, I've battled with fear, rejection. And then fast forward to a marriage, my first marriage, which lasted 40 years. I had a lot of fear about my mother's alcoholism and being worried that she would die, which she did eventually. And so one of the blockages I've had to overcome and to become a powerful empath is fear. So I'm going to let Habeeb and Neb, if you like, share about your own childhood, either conflicts or traumas that you had to overcome to come to this place of leading a community, of leading the world into a new calendar, into a new language even. I was listening to some of the language today on the teaching, and I realized, words like wizards and wave spell are kind of, questionable for a lot of people. And maybe tonight we can spend some time talking about the transition from our childhood language to now, where we can thrive on a new language and why we need this new language. So I don't know, Habeeb or Neb, do you want to start with your own story? Either one.
Absolutely. I'll start. It's interesting you should say that. In the cosmology, the monkey, the magician, it deals with the inner joy, the inner child. And a lot of times the blockages that we have in our adulthood come from different traumas or different situations that happen to us as children. And we're operating in a child mind as an adult, trying to figure these things out. So anytime we get triggered, it's like, whoop, this wall goes up. You know what I mean?
Oh
And
yeah.
and I think mine was abandonment. My dad and mom, they split up early, and I remember uh, moving to Atlanta when I was young, 5 or 6, for a few years, and I remember I'm originally from Ohio, and I remember my mom coming to Atlanta to get established in my when I was in kindergarten, right? And in first grade, I came down to Atlanta and stayed a couple years. Then we went back to Ohio. But in that process, um, my mom got remarried, and I was with my stepdad, and my stepdad kind of had a few anger issues and things of that nature. And I remember feeling, well, where's my father? Where is he at? And I think that affected some of my confidence. But the thing is interesting, my stepdad, I really learned how to be tough from him, because he didn't have no problem, uh, you know, putting his hands on me if I didn't do something right. So he disciplined physically. But what it did, it made me tough. I was able to, defend myself. I was, from that perspective, I was good. But my confidence in achievement changed. And so that's something I had to get over. Now I got over that in the military, where the discipline that I was able to practice made me think that I could overcome any obstacle that happened in my childhood. And so everything that popped up, I just said, well, I'm going to be more disciplined. I know what the issue is and I'm going to move through it. But I know everybody can't do that. So fast forward to now, that discipline is really helping me do the practices of having a fourth dimensional perspective on how we need to live in this body. And it's really opening up doors and removing blockages so I can have the fortitude and the strength to lead an organization into what we call the new time. Lead an organization with confidence, with strong leadership and dignity. And so that's my process. I turn it to Abibula to see, what some of the things that she'd like to share from her perspective.
Yeah, I love that military once again had a purpose to strengthen men, discipline men, even though the other side of it is a lot of people get killed. Everything in divine order to teach us something. Habib, go ahead.
Well, I think your story and my story are similar, Dr. V, because I learned in my 40s, late 40s, that my mother did not want me. And, but, of course, going through the pregnancy and everything, delivering me, feeling as if, she was, even though she was married, she felt like she was alone. And then she just developed a innate ability to protect me, but to learn in my latter years, all the favoritisms with my siblings and the um, feeling like I was the eyeball, the black sheep, and, so on and so forth in the family, I just learned to be a free spirit. I learned to, go within. I didn't do too much of a reflection because everyone dictated, my life. Everyone told me this is what you're gonna do and this is, how I'm gonna dress and so on and so forth. I had a whole family. I was raised under one roof with both my parents, but yet they were not there. So along with Baba T, I still, even though I had both parents in the house, I still had a sense of abandonment because I was the eyeball, and then my trauma comes in where I learn more about who I am as a free spirit, and then I really truly become not accepted by my siblings, not accepted, in the household. I moved out, had my own children, did everything to swear. They would never experience that, but I know I've raised two amazing, daughters, and I just do everything to hold the bond. So now in this mindset of being, I call it integrated. We say conscious minded, but I call integrated because I was raised a Christian and, a whole bunch of other different kind of practices and life on religious beliefs. But as an integrated individual, I'm able to encompass everybody and love everybody. And that's where this level of consciousness and using my whole mind and all the creative expressions of, our creatress comes into play, because I can be 100% myself and love everybody, all in the same. So it feels good to be able to be open, like out and open to express who we really are, who I really am, and how we come together in Lakesh Alakim.
So true and amazing that you and I have the same kin.
Yes.
We have such a similar.
Know, right?
Is that how it works? Explain for those who are new to the show today. Explain about the kin, how a person can know their kin, and what does it mean in this journey that we're on. Once we come out of the Christian church, that's the interesting thing. Once we come out of the language of Jesus and God and the Christian church, we have to renew our minds. And learn a new language. For what purpose is what some people might ask. I'm always language was my strength. When I think about spiritual gifts, I made A's in French. I looked at my report card when I was in high school. All my A's were in language and communicate, that type of thing. So I realized that's a gift I have. But what purpose now do we need to learn a new language? Like Ashe, that's a new word for me, coming out of Hebrew Israelite, where it was shalom and other greetings in Hebrew. So maybe we could get into that a little bit more about why this new language is important and where it comes from. Just also because some people are a little confused and they don't want. And as I said in the beginning, this is a year of change, but so many people are resisting it. Because I think number one is, as Neb, you said, if it doesn't resonate with you, then it's not meant for you right now. But how can we help people see the meaning, the divine purpose, the meaning of a new language, a new calendar, and all the things that go with the Day Out of Time celebration?
Well, that's a loaded question. Because we got to speak to the inherent problem, and the inherent problem and the growing concern is mental illness. And let me tell you, I have a link from mental illness and emotional stability that's linked directly to the lack of memory, using your memory. Okay, because you can't remember who you are and know that you have power over your thought process, and then you operate in your life as if your thought process has power over you. What is the you? So when we talk about cosmology and what we need to be learning how to remember, we need to figure out what's going to help give us the power over our own thoughts, what's going to help us be God over our emotions, what's going to help us realize the grandest version of ourselves. And that's effectuates, or that causes us to effectuate change. But when we're in a submission hold from systems, from routines and things of that nature, and we now as enlightened beings are looking for ways to evolve, and we see we keep hitting the glass ceiling in corporate. Okay, so I know I'm supposed to be more. We keep running into similar relationships. These are all mirror images of reflections back to ourselves of things we need to address to evolve. So I look at all the religions and say these are great ways to have spiritual practices or to come together in fellowship. What we teach from a cosmology standpoint is how to see all of that from a a larger, a more expanded consciousness so that we can evolve beyond the circumstances that these other states of consciousness we've been operating at has presented to us. So we need to, when we're talking about, all right, we're going to talk about another cosmology. We're going to talk about a kin number and these kind of things. It doesn't mean a hill of beans if I start talking about kin numbers. If you don't know how it's going to advance you mentally, spiritually, how it's going to help you overcome some of the things that you know you struggle with, it doesn't mean a hill of beans about that. But once you see that it can help resolve and dissolve some issues, now you're in a position to not only see its value, but thrive in it.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Mhm.
And that's what the conversations I have with people, they don't see why they should make this change. They don't understand. You know, it's kind of an understanding. I know there's an echo somewhere. I don't know how that's working. Um, and they don't understand the value, the benefit in the kingdom. You know, Yeshua, I call him Yeshua, said that the kingdom is within. So everything we do, it seems, today in this year of change should be understanding. The kingdom is talking to us, calling us. Our body is talking to us to make changes, but we ignore it, especially when sickness and disease show up. People don't see that the kingdom within is talking and it's out of balance. So how do we come back into balance this new year, especially listening more to the inner voice and understanding and overstanding the cosmic purpose for this new year, new calendar?
Well, the first thing we got to do is stop leading with the Gregorian calendar. When we start looking at all the flaws, when we say this year, what does that mean? Does that mean from January 1st to now? So we kind of mix, different calendars, different calendar concepts, and we are trying to see how to get in our mind how it can help us advance. But the first thing, if you want to bring balance, that calendar, I don't think brings any kind of balance with the female avatar. As far as the earth, that calendar, I don't see it have anything to do with the earth and preserving the earth and being able to help with this pole shift the earth has been in to help us align into how we can advance ourselves along with Mother Earth. I don't see that. So a lot of people want to learn these concepts, but they're still saying, but I'm following these other cycles. So I can tell you this, that yes, you need to be aware of those calendar dates, but you need to start following another pattern that helps shape your mind different so that you can access parts of your mind that's been dormant for some time now. Because just think about it, Dr. V, your personality is a program. And even if we get into the astrological, we're handed a program. This is how a Gemini operates. This is how this, how that. And I know it goes deeper, and I'm not saying that that's not a viable way to, make progressions. But what I'm saying is that we have to see what type of patterns help us advance. Okay. And so what I found is that when I started the first thing that helped me, as I said, what's going to determine which calendar I'm going to follow? I asked myself that. I didn't need anybody to tell me this is what you need to follow. I asked myself, what is going to determine what calendar you need to follow? And the first thing I said, well, let's look at this moon. So the moon has a 28-day cycle. And if I put the moon cycle that revolves around the earth, combine that or integrate it with the cycle, the solar cycle that it takes the earth to go around the sun, I can look at those two cycles and tell a lot about myself. And so the first thing I started doing was saying, let me see what happens when I follow this 13 moon calendar, because the moon has 13 cycles, not 12. And let me see how that changes how I think. And it changed how I think. Let me tell you the first thing for those business people out there, it changed my money. You know what I mean? And I'm not here to talk a lot about money. I'm not money hungry. I am an accomplisher. I'm a builder. So what I wanted to know was that I can gain the resources to help fulfill the visions that I had that's aligned with my purpose. So here's what I found out, Dr. V. When I start following the 13 moon calendar from a business standpoint, I said, wow, all I did was set my goals in 28-day increments for a year, right? And I earned more revenue because I earned it 13 times instead of 12.
Oh, wow.
Real simple, ain't it?
Yeah, it is.
That's powerful, ain't it?
Yeah, it
right?
is.
So that's from a money. But what's the next problem people have? Oh, they have a problem with relationships. Well, when we talk about relationships, I want to do this. I want to talk about the relationship that you have with yourself first. So what calendar system, what cosmology helps me develop a better relationship with myself? Okay. And so then I start following this 260-day calendar we call the Zolkin, where the kin numbers come from. And by me learning the kin numbers, I started to learn more about myself and developing a better relationship with myself. And guess what? People were relating to me the way I was relating to myself. And it's doing it right now.
Amazing.
Different. Isn't that powerful?
It is amazing. Yeah.
So they're mirroring me and what my relationship is with myself. Let's look at health. Let's look at from a health standpoint. We did finances, because these are the big three, right? What? Money, relationships. Come on now, Habeeb.
And health.
And health. Let's talk about health. So then I start learning about the whole mind, the hollow mind perceiver, and I started to realize that as I expanded my mind, I started to have a different image of myself. Let me tell you what happened. I started to realize that the only reason why I had a conflict, there's an emotional root to every health issue. So you can treat the symptom, but if you don't take care of the emotion that created the condition in the first place, it's going to come back, because the energy is on that frequency. Here's what I found out. When I started practicing the hollow mind perceiver, which is an advanced technique of the law of time, let me tell you what happened. I started to be able to clearly see the conflicts that I had with my health. And I was able to go to a higher state of consciousness where that conflict didn't exist. Which means, because listen, here's the thing. What about the time we didn't have a health issue? We didn't have a conflict with something emotionally and energetically. Now, so what does that tell me? That tells me that if I do have a health concern and it's part of the energy and the emotions that's in place at the core, if I change my mind and change my perspective about how I react to my emotions, I can undo what I just did and not have a condition no more. But it takes having a higher state of consciousness in order to do so. So when I start doing those practices, those things happen kind of naturally. And that's when I got into coaching and I start teaching people. And now, do you know, Dr. V, We are at 980 one-on-one coaching sessions on this stuff over the last 4 years. So not only have I done it, if anybody wanted to debate me, well, Neb Teharka, I want to question you. Well, that's great. But here's what I'm going to tell you. 980 coaching sessions later, I've been able to help other people do the same. So I'm not saying it's absolute truth, but something definitely special is going on here.
I'm a witness.
I hope I answered your question, Dr. V. I hope that was good for the listeners as well.
And it's all about energy and vibration, what you're talking about. Even with emotions,
Yes.
you said something interesting, how you react to your emotions versus respond to your emotions. And then we have to take into consideration the environment that we find ourselves in with other people. Like you said, relationships, our own health. How am I reacting to my own emotions? And am I responding to other people's emotions and attitudes? Which I realized today or this weekend in this empath workshop that I am so sensitive that I take on other people's burdens, especially when they're. What'd you say?
That's an empath.
Tell me about it. So this workshop was all about thriving as an empath instead of being a victim or reacting or feeling like, oh, this is exhausting. It's like I want to thrive in this position. And my goal is to walk into a room and affect other people and not have them affect me. And that's where I've been for a long time, is that I'm so sensitive that if somebody in the room is depressed or sad, or even if you walk in the room, somebody's in a wheelchair and they're depressed and they're sad, then you say, oh, I feel so bad for you. And then you take on that when you leave. You're feeling bad when you leave and you wonder, why do I feel so bad? Yeah. I got to change. I have to change. That's something I'm working on, is not letting the emotions of other people come into my aura. And I think studying with you and the day out of time will enhance that even more, because it really is about my vibration. The higher my vibration, the less I'm affected by all of that. And so I'm always working on my vibration in terms of emotions.
Yes.
Gotta keep joy and love in every situation, which is not easy. Especially when you have family members who are in a low vibration all the time. It's like you have to walk in with a smile, even though they're doing their thing. So I don't know, how do you struggle with that, and how do the students that you're interacting with, how do they deal with those conflicts and those struggles?
Well, you want to go ahead, Habeeb-ullah? Go ahead. You can speak to it.
Well, as a student, okay, in learning the concepts between using the whole mind and understanding or understanding, we got to stick with the understanding part, because we're beyond understanding anything. We don't stand under nothing, right? But having the mindset to govern over our own mental capacities in life, and realizing that emotion is nothing but energy in motion. Okay, so what are your frequencies? What kind of energy are you putting out or bringing in? How am I to get to that mindset to recognize that there is an issue or a problem that needs to be addressed? And then once I realize that there is, I got to get to the place where I can, basically, as we say, write it down and make it plain. Just to write a plan out on how we going to make it like it need to be, make it right. Yeah. And the lessons that Baba T has helped me to acknowledge and realize, and when I say Baba T, I mean Teharka, to realize and then get to that mindset or place to actualize in my walk, in my life, is is the beginning stages of getting to that place where you overstand. And then when you can get to that level, you're able to take whatever come at you, your challenges or whatever, and face it, acknowledge it, speak to it, um, uh, and be able to not hold it in. And when you hold it in, you can either build anger, or you can build fear, or you can build animosities and all those different energies and emotions that don't serve us, you
Yeah.
know.
And then it starts
So
affecting your tissue, your cells.
because when that energy and motion is, rubbing against each other, the
Right.
friction,
Yeah.
that it causes, that's going to eventually rub off some skin, and it's going to hurt, right?
Yeah.
So the goal, from what I've come to know, is release it, you know acknowledge it, um get to the point where you can dissolve it, resolve it. And when we do that, we can be free, we can breathe easy, we can move, better, we can speak clearer, our conscience is free, sleep is much better when you got stuff off your back, the monkey's no longer on your back no more,
Yeah.
or chips on the shoulders get knocked off and stuff like that. You just end up letting go, letting go, letting go. And the level that we need to be when we're in those spaces, other energies are going through stuff, family members, friends, you co-workers, you name it, but you're able to position yourself or take those deep breaths and be able to go within, to be able to keep your mind, keep your barriers, at a good steady pace, to where they don't intrude um as easily as they would have had you not been where you are now. And that is one of the places that Baba T has helped me in these coaching sessions, because I think I just finished my second, because it was necessary. The first one was life. The second one was life. Anyways, but it was on a whole nother level. So it's just where you taking the time for yourself to know yourself and to evolve in who you are. And that takes dissolving, resolving, and elevating. So get that in.
Well, and that evolution is about leaving old beliefs systems behind, right?
Not necessarily. I don't
Well,
think.
I mean, we grew up in a Christian environment.
Hmm.
We grew up in homes where sometimes, like Neb described, we were abandoned, and sometimes we want to be the savior in a family because we don't want the same thing to happen that happened to us as children. That's what I mean by giving up some beliefs, is that whatever we were taught in a family environment, some people carry that into their 60s and think, for instance, my ex-husband was had two parents who fought all the time. And when I met him, they were living in the same house but in separate bedrooms. And they were fighting each other all the time. When I would go, they were arguing all the time. So when it was time for my ex and I to go our separate ways, he thought that we should stay together even if we didn't like each other, even if we didn't have the same beliefs.
Wow.
It's like, this is exhausting me. I can't do this. And then he didn't want to talk to me. But his belief system was like, well, we're supposed to stay together anyway, and not.
Where's the peace in that?
And so to this day, he's in very poor health and on a lot of medications. And I'm grateful. I have so much respect for him because he taught me to be a woman of integrity. And that's the one thing that I got out of my first marriage, was that this man had extreme integrity. Not extreme, but normal. Most people don't have any. But I didn't have any integrity. I would say I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do that, and I wouldn't do it. And I didn't think nothing. He's like, how could you? You said you were gonna be home at 8, but you came home at 9. what's wrong with you? I'm like, well, it's only an hour later. What's the big deal? I had to learn from him for over 30 some years how to be a woman of integrity, because that's the one thing that I have respect for him about. But that's what I mean by beliefs. Our relationships with other people are going to either be peaceful and harmonious if we have the same beliefs. But if they have different beliefs and they insist on their beliefs ruling or whatever, that's where I see a lot of the conflicts today. Is that
Like that unequally yoked phrase we hear.
there you go. That's what my dad used to always tell me. You all are unequally yoked. You're unequally yoked. I'm like, yeah, but we're not supposed to divorce. In fact, I had a friend, a pastor friend, say, God hates divorce. And I'm like, oh, get out of here. It's like divorce on this level, yes, but on this level, we better keep that divorce going if you want your sanity and peace. You get into relationships with people and you learn something and it's time to go, but they're abusing you or they're narcissistic no, divorce happens every day and it's sometimes a good thing, but not this. I always say vertical divorce. No, we don't ever want to divorce from the Most High, the cosmic love, the creator universe. But on horizontal, yeah, get the divorce papers out so I can have peace. So
but you want to know, bringing it back into our day at a time celebration we have coming up this coming Thursday in Atlanta at Cohen Park. Coming there, we are asking for like-minded people, to come and attend. And how will you know that you're like-minded? When you research and learn a little bit about, what day at a time is supposed to represent, it's supposed to represent, transitioning, transformation, deliverance from anything, letting go of things that don't serve you, meditating and grounding and doing activities that's going to bring you more into the culture, right? Into your wholeness, right? And having good relationships with those people and sharing the energy or the synergy and the kinergy that we share in that one space. There's power in multitude, right? So when we do this, when we come together and we're sharing the like-mindedness, and we can be, it should be easy to really peg those who really don't belong. I don't even want to say don't belong, but those who show up just haphazardly to, you would say, bring discord or the showboat or whatever. If they're not there for the purposes intended, they'll be sought out, but it's still a good way to go through or to position yourself to be able to remind yourself, okay, and or express yourself in your truth. Your kin number is the energy that you chose to come into existence in, okay? And when you learn about your kin energy that you exist in today, the whys on top of the whys as to how and what you are coming into the day at a time or day at a time or day in time into whatever plasma or day that we're on, you just have to come to know. And when you come to know, it feels so good to be. And that is the joy that you can get to bring when you come or when you learn and when you evolve into becoming 100% authentically who you are. So, yeah.
I want to bring in a comment here. Is it Goddess Ambrosia? She says Ashe. And that's one word that's new, fairly new, Ashe. Tell us what Ashe means. Where does it come from?
You want to do that, Baba? Ashe means amen.
Okay,
it's the same as amen. It's another as so it is.
So it is. And where is it from? Africa, right?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
So do you know what language?
Part I want to say is universal, but I believe it's Yoruba, if I'm not
Yeah,
mistaken.
it's Yoruba.
Yeah.
Yoruba.
So when I use that with other people, they don't even understand unless they're of a certain culture that has been using it for a while, especially the African culture. We're all from Africa. And so I always like to tell them what it means because the beauty of the word helps them adapt it themselves. Just like shalom, people don't really know. Shalom just doesn't mean peace. It means may you have a prosperous life, may you have beautiful relationships. It's a deep word, and so now I'm wanting to use ashe again as well as shalom, and then some people are still using peace. So we have all these languages floating around, and I see a need to define and clarify because there's so much conflict and confusion and division. So I'm all about breaking down words and helping people see and understand why it's important to adapt, change our language, use other languages, experiment with other languages to see how the energy is when we use other languages. So I love that word ashe. And then she also says, yeah, yes, yeah, we know what yes means. Yes, see, all that, see. And then she says, it has helped me with that. I think when we were talking earlier, she was saying, do you know Goddess Ambrosia?
Yes.
Okay, so you know what she means. It has helped me with that.
Yes.
So thank you, sister, for those comments. We want to have healthy conversations tonight. If you have a comment, please post it here. We don't have blog talk. Um, we do have on air everywhere. And I'm at this point, let me just ask, are there any questions or comments on the on air everywhere network? Because I can't see I know Kwame's in the house, and I'm not sure who else. But do you have a comment or question at this point? Open your mic if you do. Okay.
No, check your message, your text, and I sent you what Ashe means.
Oh, okay, great. Kwame is always helping us have better understanding and words. He breaks down words for us all the time. I saw something interesting.
Yeah, etymology is crucial.
Oh my goodness. That was my Hebrew journey. So many people were practicing etymology in Hebrew classes. And I love it when you said, I think it was earlier, Neb, you said talked about time backwards is emit. And well, I wish you would share a little bit about that teaching, what emit, how emitting a frequency is important to understand as we journey into this new calendar, new language. What does it mean to reverse time and emit a frequency and a behavior, actually, right?
Absolutely. Just you can look at the word time and it's spelled backward is emit.
Right.
So, when we start talking about the intelligence of the heart, we talk so much about the mind. But I like to really focus on the fact that from what I have discovered, that the heart has more electrical impulses than the brain. And in the fetus, the heart was developed first. So do we need to find something out about how this heart works and amplifies whatever is in our brain? So what are we emitting? And I want you to put something down here for those of you. Frequency. Somebody has some feedback, so we can mute your line.
I've got you on here twice.
Yeah, I'm on twice because the video for the day at a time is on there.
Oh,
you can see it.
that might be the feedback we're getting. Let's see. If you mute,
That's muted. I mean, I don't think that has a passageway
Okay.
to connect. But in just talking about, this whole process, right, of emitting, I want to equate it to this, right? Frequency from this perspective that I'm talking about equals currency. I don't have to blame anything on anyone else anymore because I know the frequency that I am emitting is creating a current or currency that's showing up in my reality. Now, from this perspective, I can blame, I can judge that reality, I can deny it ain't karmatic or any part of any karmatic thing, or I can take responsibility and say, what is that showing me? The me of my memories, the me of my past life, even if I need to go that deep. Because if I got the power to create my reality through frequency, then that means if something shows up that's undesirable or that I didn't intend from my power of my intention, from my thought process, I can change it. So my whole thing, and you were asking, what do you tell your people? Because I love the fact that you share you are empath. I've got a lot of experiences with empaths. And what I love more than anything is in the hollow mind perceiver teaching to show the empaths how it's just a sign that you're a very powerful telepath. And so now the challenge with the empath is that when you go into a crowd and you start feeling sad or you start feeling these different emotions, you don't know where it's coming from. But if you unblock your telepathic abilities, you'll be able to pinpoint exactly where it's coming from. And that energy may need to help somebody heal. And you'll be able to use that powerful energy as an empath to heal now, because now you know where it's coming from. Does that make sense what I'm saying?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
This is all about emitting. What frequency are you emitting? So for those who are listening, let me tell you something that you need to know. The first order of business when your currency shows up in your reality, which your currency is your reality, the number one thing that we need to do, watch this, is raise your frequency. Now, let me show you what don't raise your frequency. Oh man, this is happening again. Oh man, I'm late to work again. Who do they think they are cutting me off in traffic? Oh, he think he a know-it-all. She think, she trying to talk. She trying to step on my. That lowers our frequency. Because ain't no victims here, right?
Viata.
Yeah, and it's a reaction. It's a reaction versus a response. Yes, Kwame, you had a
Yes, sir.
comment.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I like
Yeah,
it.
and greetings, Brother Tahaka.
Greetings, Brother Kwame.
Yeah, but the part in which you're taking the word time and time, it's the same word. When you split it in half, it says to time me, and that's what they use this Gregorian time calendar and being able to bind you to use your energy, where the part of us is to untie ourselves, and this is how we're learning to turn the word around to emit. But when you split the word time in half, it says to tie me. And that's the part that they have been able to formulate this system of time in order to harness your energy, to tap into your power, to use your energy for their benefit and their aggrandizement. So in us taking back and untying ourselves and understanding that we have the power to emit in the 260 and 360, and being able to understand our galactic connection, not Gregorian. And the part of it is I'm a 10-2 white lunar wind, and it deals with the breath and spirit. When we have a better understanding of it, then we are able to transmit it. But if you don't know how to take your power and retransmit it, you'll stay stuck in their loop.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. And I'll tell you something that's really that's a very powerful statement, because now we're seeing how we get in bind. You know, I did a talk, Brother Kwame, called Gods in an Artificial Matrix. See, when you have an artificial version of time, now here's what I want to tell the listeners from this perspective. Do you know that there are states of consciousness where you can't tie me to nothing? You can't curse me. You can't. I'm at a state of consciousness where I'm a curse breaker. So now that's my state of consciousness. Nobody can take that from me. So if I'm going to show you how that works, there are states of consciousness where certain things just don't happen in that reality. So we talk about emitting. We don't have a one size fit all version of time or emitting. What we have is what state of consciousness are we operating from? And as we realize that, and I'm glad he brought that up, because a lot of us are binded to a word, and a word cannot control a God. Ashe? So this is what we are unpacking as galactic beings, that well, if we're going to talk galactic, right, then we got to say, okay, so if we are galactic, if we have galactic consciousness on the earth, our knowledge goes beyond earth. So we were sent to the earth to correct or do something. So just think about the image. I want everybody who's listening to think about the image of how you see yourself now. Do you see yourself as a victim now? Do you see yourself as somebody can put a spell on you? Or how about a curse? I don't see that. You see what I'm saying? And I'm not saying I'm special. I don't think anybody has to see it. You got the choice that you're going to be the curse breaker, or you're going to be the one, the curse bearer, where you're going to carry out this curse through your lineage, but you have a choice. Gosh, and you can't have this unlimited power in God in us, and now we're going to live down to anything that's not going to help us evolve. Now, that's the perspective that I'm coming from. And I love that we have a matrix. The matrix is so great. I love it because it's my obstacle course. I love it. Come on, bring me something. Target me today. Pull me over today with the level of consciousness that I have. And I know that I have power to he or she who has the power of focus has the power to create the reality over whoever's around. Yeah. And when you reach certain states of enlightenment, you can do that on a very vast level. Hundreds of thousands of people. You have the power to access as you get up into love, peace, joy, as you get up into true states of enlightenment. So the people at enlightenment, when I'm telling the listeners, they don't experience what the people at shame experiences. They have two different realities. So I always ask, what state of consciousness are you speaking from, right? And what is that consciousness bringing into your reality before I can even say anything about what someone else is experiencing? Mm-hmm. Does that make sense?
Oh, yeah, and you can tell the level of consciousness by how people react or respond to circumstances in their life. I pay attention to the reaction or the response that people have. So that's a beautiful way. Like you said, the matrix, I don't think of it. Many people don't think of it that way. We're trying to get out of the matrix and rise above it. But like you said, it's an obstacle course for us to sharpen our skills, if you will. I think as something comes up, that responding in a certain way is going to teach people. It's going to give you the energy you need for that moment. And I think in a lot of ways, an anointing comes on you when you respond a certain way that will give you even more than what you thought you needed in that moment. So that's a beautiful way to look at it. We've got some other comments here. Let's see. Zelda, our Monday morning host, says, teach Baba Kwame. Yes, we are always welcoming the lessons from our brother, Baba Kwame. And she says, Grand Rising, beautiful wisdom teachers, enjoying the show from Houston, Texas with family. Thank you, Zelda, for going to Houston to take care of family. And then Women in Ministry in Chicago, greetings to you all. And she said, or I'm not sure if that's men or women, but they say, wow, be a curse breaker. She likes that one. Be a curse breaker. And this one, she says, that's the truth. We were sent to the earth to forward the good and progress of goodwill, love, joy, great health, etc. for all people. Thank you, Brother Teharka. All right. So we want to take a break right now if you guys want to get up and stretch. And then when we come back, can you play that video that you played earlier? But we're going to take a little break for everybody to get some water or do whatever you need to do. And we'll be right back after these messages. And my computer is saying it wants to do whatever I don't want it to do. Okay. Oh boy. Everybody hang in there.
Drastically increased over the last 50 years? How is it that the cancer rate has gone from 1 in 8,000 back in the 1910s to 1 in 2 today? Isn't it odd that even though we are more focused on health than ever before, that there's still been an increase in diseases, disorders, illnesses, and other conditions that destroy your quality of life? What if we told you that the very things you're using in your home to avoid these health concerns are actually what's causing them? If you're the decision maker in your home, you know how overwhelming it can be to keep your family safe. Today, we'd like to welcome you and simply provide you with some important information and shed some light on some health concerns you may not be aware of. Over the last 100 years, thousands of toxic chemicals have been introduced into society because of an excessive overstock of chemicals designed for warfare in the Second World War. Today, as the 2013 documentary The Human Experiment states, quote, 42 billion pounds of toxic chemicals enter into commerce every day. That amount would fill up 623,000 tanker trucks. And as we speak, there are over 80,000 such chemicals on the market in the U.S. Over the last half century, chemical usage has gone up by 2,000%. And it isn't until there are enough people hurt by these products that there are even questions raised. Does this sound familiar? On July 12, 2018, the well-known grocery store brand of talcum and baby powder company, Johnson & Johnson, was ordered to pay a $4.6 billion lawsuit. As it was said, they knowingly covered up asbestos in their product for over 40 years, and we have been trustingly using it on ourselves and our most precious of all things, our newborn babies. As parents, we work hard to keep our families safe and healthy. We diligently try to choose the best brands at the grocery store for our families. After all, keeping a clean home is an important part of good health. But is it possible that cleaning your home is dangerous? 7.3 million American couples have trouble conceiving or carrying a pregnancy to term. This is a 49% increase since 1988. Recent studies have shown that babies that do make it to term are being born pre-polluted, with up to 28 harmful chemicals in their blood, with indicators that over 400 more were present, all without ever eating food, drinking water, or even breathing air yet. It just doesn't make any sense. Studies showed that in 1999, 1 in 500 kids had autism. Today, it's 1 in 59. But the effects don't stop there. As of 2013, the increases over the last 45 years show that life-threatening birth defects has increased 100%. Genital deformities in baby boys has increased 122%. Asthma has increased 80%. Leukemia in children has increased 74%. And ADHD has increased 53%. A 20-year independent study was done by the University of Bergen in Norway. This study started closely tracking a population of 6,235 women and men. They tracked the typical use of home cleaners and how they affect lung tissue of those who use them over a long period of time. Over the course of the study, the participants answered questions about their usage of cleaning products and had their lung capacity tested regularly. In May 2018, the study was published in the American Journal of Respiratory and Critical Care Medicine, which generated global media attention because their findings from the study clearly showed that significant damage had been done to lung tissue, and that by using national brand cleaners, even only once a week, had the same effect as smoking a pack of cigarettes a day for 20 years. Even if we're only using these products once a week, we are exposing ourselves, our children, and even our pets to something that is considered more dangerous than secondhand smoke. Ask yourself, would you knowingly hand your child a pack of cigarettes every day?
Now, that video gives an that video gives an interesting reminder of our environment and how important it is for us to be conscious, not just about what we put inside our bodies, but what is inside our house and our environment, and what are we using to clean it. And so that's why I partnered with a company called Melaleuca, because they provide a lot of products that are safer and easier to use. But I think the main point of that video is to help us be conscious about what we buy for our food and for what we buy to clean our houses. I personally use vinegar and water for most of my cleaning. I had a cleaning business for over 10 years, and I had a wealthy Jewish woman who I cleaned her house, and she was allergic to everything. And vinegar and water was all we used, mostly, and a little powder called Bon Ami to scrub things. But it doesn't take a lot to keep an environment clean inside and out. And as Neb mentioned earlier, when you have a high level of consciousness, your vibration is high, you do not have to worry about all these toxins and pollutions, because you're up here vibrating and those things are at a lower level and won't affect you. So that's kind of the message of the Day Out of Time. When you get your rhythm right with the new calendar, then most of the things that are affecting other people won't have the same effect on you. Is that right, Habeeb? Yep.
I agree with that. Yes, definitely.
So we have a video we want to share, right, of the Day Out of Time celebration. Are you able to share that on here? It was a beautiful video that Neb shared earlier.
Yeah, you should be able to pull it in. See if you can pull it in.
That's for me to do. Okay.
makes me so proud.
It's so beautiful. Now, for those who weren't able to see that, who are on the call, audio only, can you just share what was in the video?
Absolutely. It's really just talking about the activities that we're going to have on the day at a time. And, let me just give some, for those who may be new to this concept, when we talk about the lunation cycles, or the moon have a mean average of 28 days. Okay. So when we multiply 28 times 13, we have 364 days. Now we know the year is 365.25, right? So that other day and a quarter is called the day out of time, where everything resets itself. Now, that day out of time, every year, it doesn't change, is on July 26th. Now, what is that based on? Before I tell you about the video, it's based on the cycles of star Sirius. And star Sirius is 2 times and even more the size of our sun. So those of us, we listen, we have 3 different aspects of ourselves. We usually only acknowledge one, and that's the physical body and the feelings that we have, the 5 senses, right? But the body is so much more sophisticated than that, because also with the body, we have an etheric body, a spiritual body, and we also have a electrical light body. That electrical light body, the language of light, is communicating with us just like these planets communicate with each other. It's consciousness. And so those of us that raise our consciousness levels to receive that, we now are going to see our experience completely different. So when we tap into those cycles of a much bigger light, it doesn't mean that we're not following these cycles over here with our sun. They are synchronized, okay? And when we experience that on the day out of time, this is the time that star Sirius is the brightest it's in the sky. Our Dogon ancestors have been able to prove that without a telescope, and open up our minds to be able to access more of this memory, more states of consciousness, because of how we connect with the light. So now when we look at the day out of time, everything is resetting, right? To go back through those 13 cycles again. And what was really powerful, I want all the listeners to get this, was you might say, well, Neb, how do I know this isn't a pseudoscience? How do I know you just ain't, found something that it sounds good and here today and gone tomorrow? Well, here's how I can show you. Let's look at the female avatar, right? In terms of the divine feminine, when we talk about menstruation, let's just talk about that. How many cycles does she have a year? Now, when they're regular, right? It matches the lunation cycle. So here's what's powerful. Everything we talk about in the synchronistic human school of enlightenment, I can show you where it's happening in the body. That's all I need to know. I don't have to debate with anybody. I don't have to say. All I know is I can find it in the body. Your body is a cosmos, and you can integrate that with any religion, anything that you want to. It's designed to enhance, not separate. It's designed to synchronize cycles, right? Not move into isolation of some type, way, shape, or form or fashion. So the video was talking about, this is what we're going to be doing. We're going to be having debt forgiveness. We're going to be having a talent show. We're going to be able to correspond with our different kin. Those that access this galactic consciousness, or already are very well versed in it, or new to it. It doesn't matter. It's all about the vibration. It's all about the energy. We're going to, of course, going to have some food. We're going to have a drum circle. We're going to be able to break down. I'm going to have people break down into the 5 earth families so they can understand how the cosmology works in different cycles that involve the earth families. And so it's going to be a lot of fun. We're going to have activities there for children. And that's what the video is saying. Come and join us. Join in with us on this experience so you can get the vibe and catch the vibe of what we're here for and how we can take this vibe to a whole nother octave, a whole nother level.
Hey.
Does that make sense? What I'm saying about the
Oh,
video?
yeah. And I'm wondering, Kwame lives in Georgia, so I'm wondering if Kwame, if you're still there, if you're planning to be there.
Hopefully he's registered.
Yeah, I'll be there. You know, I'm registered.
Oh,
No,
yes.
my mom's sister passed last Friday,
Oh,
and
no.
the homegoing is Friday.
Oh,
So
okay.
I'll be in Mississippi.
Oh, not Chicago. Okay, Mississippi instead. Well, we sorry to hear that. But how old was she?
She was 90, so
Oh.
we celebrated her 90th birthday June the 6th.
Mm.
And it's kind of funny, my mom crossed over on December 6th, and then she left here on July 10th.
Okay. Well, we have safe travels, and we'll miss you. I'll be there. So I get in on at early Thursday morning. Actually, I'll be in. Then I'll find my way to the park. But you said debt forgiveness. How is that happening? Is that going to be a spiritual, energetic process?
Yes,
Yeah.
and it's real.
The last time we did it, it was very powerful, you know,
Very.
and it's just really a conscious meditation that I actually at that time I led it, and you know, people had some really powerful testimonies about not only they had some really powerful financial testimony. We had one lady that said she got $20,000 out of nowhere, and I'm not saying that's going to happen for everybody, but I was shocked, you know.
I know.
I'm like, okay, well, I wish I would have got 20 grand, you know, unexpected, but it's okay. If somebody else gets an increase or gets relief, and let me tell you something else. A lot of it has to do with how we need to let other people go in terms of their debts. We need to forgive their debts.
It's not just monetary either.
Right. Not just monetary. It's a blockage. And so we need to understand how that works, because we oftentimes think we can have blockages with someone else, but those blockages we got with someone else are going to affect what's coming to us, or what's blocking something from coming to us.
Yes.
So we need to be relieved of that. And so it's a very powerful ritual and meditation that we do. And a lot of people really enjoyed it the last time that we did it. I learned it from Baba Wanik Kimi Tahuti Shabazz. He actually enlightened me on the debt forgiveness that we need. And we, a lot of these debts that we're having is really creating a stronghold on how we can do other things in terms of expanding or not.
Now, what other kind of debts are we talking about? We're not talking just about financial, right? I dropped out, so I came back in. But elaborate. I want you to elaborate on that, because I think that's where sickness comes in, when people are not able to forgive. Because what's that prayer? Forgive us our debts as we forgive those who trespass. That's a big one. That's a huge.
Yeah.
It's huge, because it's linked to judgment
and grudges. Mm-hmm.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. Yeah. It's linked to judgment. And so let's talk about our karmic debts. Mm-hmm. So we're going to go get all this spiritual power so we can do, and we know that as we become more aware, let me tell you the power of, you know, evolving spiritually and this stuff we're talking about. It's a double-edged sword. You become more aware of the stuff that you repressed and suppressed in your mind. That surfaces for you to what? Address. And what do a lot of people do? A lot of us do that have pride. We deny it. We say, oh, that ain't me. I ain't that way no more. It ain't about how you are now. It's about, if you know that you did something in the past that caused strife, that caused problems for other people, it's nice to know that you're coming with your new spiritual advancements to resolve. And it's called what? Reparations.
Yeah.
Right. So everybody wants reparations from what this country has done. Right. But it goes even deeper than that. I don't got time to get into the reparations, but we got some stuff that we know we can repair that we caused trouble for. But a lot of people wipe their hands clean and, hey, I'm good now. I'm saved now. I'm this now. I'm that now. So karmic patterns is a big deal. And it's, I was saying on another show that there's two reasons that I like to even talk about main reasons that we incarnate with this body. One, to clear up our our galactic karma. And two, to fulfill our galactic purpose. You know what that does to my mind? That lets me know I'm not just a number. I'm not expendable. That's what that lets me know. I don't think I'm better than anybody. I just know that I'm grateful to step into the consciousness that I'm taking responsibility for taking advantage and clearing up my karmic debt. Who can be mad at that? I'm willing to clear it up myself. I'm willing to repair. I may have owed somebody some money that I forgot about. Yeah, man, you know what? I loaned you some money, and you know, when you didn't give it back, it caused all these problems. But I forgive you, right? If somebody tells me that, I'm gonna say, all right, this is what we're gonna do, and I'm going to do my best to repair what damage it caused, because I can look at it and consciously see. And this is speaking to something else we talk about, is self-governance. Yep. So in the new time, we're moving from the information age into the telepathic age. We don't need anybody governing our mental, because we practice self-governance. And so that's just taking responsibility for what we do and have done. And that makes us go higher and higher and better, get better and better and better. And I always say, either we're getting better or we're getting bitter. Which one? There's no in between. Better or bitter. Hopefully that answered the question. I thought I'm really excited about this event, because we're doing some things to help relieve the pressure off people's consciousness.
Yes.
Absolutely. And I believe the way we respond helps us eliminate karma, because if we keep reacting with anger and judgment and unforgiveness, then the karma just keeps going in my thinking. So it's so important to come to this awareness that debt forgiveness is not just on a financial level, but on many levels that will improve our life and our karmic situation. So we've got some more comments here from Mama Joy, is Women in Ministry Chicago. She says, many people look at their actions and are willing to account for their actions. I am Mama Joy Vian. Thank you. I have to change something. Mama Joy is one of our hosts on the Female Solution on Saturday once a month. And she says, got it straightened out now. Yes. Thank us. Very powerful video. More should have access to the information. Thanks, Viata. Yeah. And okay, Neb is giving the information here to register for the Day Out of Time. Go to the synchronistichuman.com, Day Out of Time, DOOT. And it's Thursday from, what is it, from 12 to
6.
12 to
6 p.m. Mm-hmm.
Okay, so you're going to cut it off at 6, huh?
Well, the restrooms at the recreation center will be locked, so you'll be on your own if you need to use the restrooms.
Okay, so that's why 6 o'clock. Okay, that sounds fair.
Yes.
That sounds fair. And then we have Zelda, our Monday morning host. She's going to have a show tomorrow on how Biden steps aside and endorses Kamala Harris. More political drama. So there's going to be lots of conversation, and that's her YouTube channel there. And so Zelda will be busy with conversation tomorrow. When and where is debt relief session? That's in Georgia.
At Copeland Park at the Day Out of Time celebration.
Okay. And then Neb is giving more information here. Debt forgiveness and more. You can join It's at Cohen Park Pavilion, 1563 Hosea L. Williams Drive, Northeast Atlanta, 12 to 6. There's all the information right there.
Yes.
And then Katrina Ravenel says, debt forgiveness is real. Recently, I had a monumental breakthrough and it blew me away. I forgave a long time ago, but the clarity came out of nowhere and it was a beautiful thing. Oh, wow. Thank you, Katrina, for sharing that. It is real. Debt forgiveness is higher levels of self actualization.
Yes. And then you also have to keep in mind also that debt forgiveness isn't always just about you letting go of a debt that someone owed you or someone has against you, but it's also releasing them and releasing yourself. You got to go in. You may have at some point in time blamed yourself, or held yourself accountable for what happened to someone else. You need to be able to release and let go and forgive yourself of that as well. So it's a two-way street. And it's a practice that we should actually hold on to and do as often as possible as needed.
Okay, Zelda is asking if will you record the debt relief for those unable to attend? Can you record it? That's her question.
There'll be some videoing going on for the event in and of itself. But there are going to be some moments of what we would consider to be sensitivity. There will be a release waiver for everyone who does not want to be video signed. But the thing is, we need you there. We need your energy in the space. And we understand if you're not able to make it, this year. But there will be other day out of times for you to come and join us. However, I can't say that we'll video the whole thing. But we will definitely be making a mass video that you'll be able to link onto the site to be able to view later on. So yeah.
So I'm thinking I might be looking for someone to do a Friday show with me afterwards. But then you're traveling to Alabama the next day. Or most of the participants will be going to Alabama, or not all. What percentage are going to Alabama?
That depends. There's a lot of people that do stuff at the last minute. So let me answer the question. No, it won't be recorded. Okay, it's an energy thing. It's about physically being there, and so that's not digitally going to be transmitted. We also going to bring all the kin together, so help you understand galactic consciousness as it relates to your kin, and also being able to bring us together as all these kin. We're creating what we call a brain. We're creating a circuit, right? We call it the galactic brain, and we're going to do a meditation in addition to this debt forgiveness, and we're going to send a collective frequency that's going to bring a collective currency. You see, time is the new currency. The evolution of consciousness is the new currency. It ain't cryptocurrency. We on a cosmic economy that keeps evolving. So we don't have to be tied to these artificial constructs that really don't even serve our communities. Okay, because we're not in a position, a pole position, or we're not in a position to leverage that. So we got to move our mind someplace else. Like they wrote a book some time ago. Who moved my cheese? We did. We moving our cheese by Kenneth Blanchard, right? Who moved my cheese?
Right.
So I'm moving my cheese into the cosmic economy, right? So that's kind of how we're handling that. But we got a real good thing going. So that's why physically being there. Let me tell you something. I don't have a lot of time to get into the hollow mind perceiver, which is very, very, very sophisticated and advanced part of the law of time. And in that, As I mentioned on our last year, that we're in the 441st year of it, according to the date that they started the Gregorian calendar, October 4th, 1582. And when we got to October 4th, 2023, and we subtract, if you subtract 2023, or excuse me, 1582 from 2023, you get 441. Okay, now, many people on here have not been privy to what we're talking about when we're talking about the hollow mind perceiver, how to access your whole mind, how to see yourself as a planet. Because energetically, we all connected to everything. It's all consciousness. So it's on a whole nother far out level, you know. And so I'm very appreciative that I have been able to learn how to remember that hollow mind, that whole mind perceiving through this body, but to be able to also teach it. Now, why am I bringing that up? Because this is a very special day out of time, because those 2 or 3 things are synchronizing the fact that we are now crossing the threshold from information age concepts into the telepathic age. That's what the hollow mind perceiver is helping you to be able to tap into this memory, over 100 plus million years of it, to be able to intentionally, not randomly, use it in your day-to-day, so these artificial programs can't govern your mind, because your concept of time has changed. That's what we're doing at this day out of time. And so if you feel connected, if you are a listener and you feel connected, we need to have a conversation about how to get you here. Because if I'm being shown that consciousness and telepathy travels faster than the speed of light, that means that we can do something that when we think, and our telepathy can move faster than 299 million kilometers in 1 second. Just imagine what we can do in 1 minute. And we got over 1,440 minutes in a whole day. So how are we utilizing our minutes? Are we using it complaining? Are we using it talking about this one or that one? Are we using it to evolve? But if we evolve, then we're going to create a whole different experience for ourselves. So definitely tap in. This ain't no joke. If you in Atlanta and you ain't there, you don't understand the whole consciousness as we're bringing in the galaxy as part of our mind to help us overcome things on the earth. It just makes sense to be there, doesn't it?
Absolutely. My intention is to find someone who wants to do a Friday morning show with me, or just remember the energy and the lessons and share that with my audience on Friday morning. So we've got Mama AZ is in the on air radio network. Mama AZ, do you want to open your mic or unmute yourself?
Hey.
Can you hear me?
Go ahead. We can hear you.
Thank you so much. Thank you, family. I'm just listening and being grateful for the knowledges that are being shared. In peace, Brother Kwame. There's a lot going on, and I'm just listening. Thank you. Thank us.
Okay. Thank you for
Yes,
joining. Thank you for joining us. Always loving your energy. And Joy, our Saturday host, has a question here for you. I did not complete that statement about accounting for actions and not consider our responsibility for our reactions. I hear so much he made me go there. How would you handle assisting someone to understand that one is both responsible for actions and reactions? It's not blaming, but justifying reactions. Neb?
Hey, that's right in my wheelhouse. It's called self-acceptance. I am the source and the creator of my experience. So I look to clear up I'm looking for karma to clear up. I'm looking where I slighted someone when I was in my past life.
Yeah.
How about in my 30s? And I was taught to do that, but now I'm wise and I realize that wasn't the right thing to do. Right. So I'm gonna go back and I'm going to repair because I'm taking responsibility and accountability. And what I love about being in self-acceptance, and is when I accept that I am the source and the creator of my experience, I get to change my experience. Otherwise, I got to wait on something else to do it. So that's part of the self-governance. We definitely have to be able, when these things come for us to address, especially when we're judgmental. Okay, that's a reflection. Always have one finger pointed at somebody else and three pointing back at us, and we pointing like this, right? So that's telling us, I find 3 times where I did that myself. When I say, I can't believe that person did that to that person. And I say, wait a second, I know I done did that before. Been 20 years ago, but I did, and I give thanks and I give gratitude and go on a rampage of appreciation about, man, look at how far I've come from that. And I thank that person, even though they may have thought, they did something that'll make me mad. I give thanks to that person. I get to address it. I get to look deeper in myself and become more evolved in the process. So everybody who's listening, it is a gem to be able to mess up, but not stay in the mess, go and clean up the mess and evolve from it. And now you can show other people how to be proactive about their messes as well. And they may not have to go through what you went through, but they can have the awareness. I hope I answered her question, but that type of stuff gets me fired up, Dr. V.
Yeah, and gratitude is such a powerful energy and emotion. If you could just get that, no matter what happens in your life, if you can show gratitude, I mean, the worst situations, if you can just trigger in your mind gratitude, no matter what happens, it is so powerful to heal and restore and renew your whole being. Oh, I'm just going to give thanks for this car accident I was just in. I had a young lady hit the back of my car, and that's why I don't have a car today. She ran into my car, and I got out the car, and she was only 18. She was driving her dad's truck, and she was crying because she had never been in an accident before. And all I could do was I gave her a hug. I had given the person who hit my car a hug because I knew that this was going to turn out to be a great lesson for me, no matter what, even though I ended up not having a car. But I was just gratitude. I wasn't hurt. She wasn't hurt. And that I was able to give her some comfort. But Zelda said, cosmic currency, love, love, love it. And then Joy says, good book, Who Moved My Cheese? Yeah, a lot of people have read that one. And then Katrina, oh my, this brain intelligent conversation. Love it. Who Moved My Cheese? All about survival. Is that it? Is it really? Okay. And then this is very new to me, but I'm willing to receive new info. So tell them, you know what, before we go, you've got to let them know where they can learn more about it on your YouTube. Your YouTube channel, Neb, is fabulous. I could just sit there. When I realized you had a channel, I didn't even know you had one. I was just going from one video to another. So
I told him about that.
yeah, you got to advertise that more because here's somebody right here. She's willing to receive new info, and I think your YouTube channel is great for that. What is your channel again?
Yeah, it's just Neb _ Teharka. If you just put Neb _ Teharka and on search YouTube, the YouTube channel will pull up. I hadn't put a lot of emphasis on YouTube and some of these outlets, but we are going on a blitz. Like, we're going to launch this new cycle. That's why I'm getting everybody in place and they can launch with us. I always say, when the sea rises, all the boats rise with it. So, this is why we're bringing things into a position. But you can go to Neb _ Teharka and get on there. And we're really about to put out some serious campaigns because this is 8 years of working feverishly and teaching. And most people don't even know we've taught 19 consecutive semesters
Yes.
of the law of time and the hollow mind perceiver. So we perfected a lot of things in that process. We've done over 980 one-on-one coaching sessions to help integrate this, so it ain't just me doing it. And now we are creating, we're creating a telepathic remembrance group. We already created it. Okay, we have a group, the
done.
TRG, to help people practice remote viewing, to help people with retrocognition and precognition. We actually have a group that's doing that. So these are things that we're doing. Nobody knows about it because we've been working with a very private group of people, probably about 100 to 200 people. But now that's about to expand like wildfire. So you're hearing this at a well-oiled machine level. We've been through a lot of different, turns and twists, because this isn't this like swimming upstream. The system don't support this. So we have to learn how to better support ourselves.
Absolutely. And the prayer, I hope you can say that prayer before we go, where it's the facing the east, the north, the south, the west. My favorite one is that we can end all wars. So I've got to get that in writing, because I want to say that prayer on a daily basis. Is that available on your website?
It's not available on the website, but I'll email it to you. And we probably put it on the website. You'll get it tonight. You might have it in the next 5 minutes. So we'll make sure you have it.
And can you say that before we leave?
Absolutely.
Okay, so we've got Katrina Ravenel. Katrina was my guest a couple of weeks ago. She says we need to have a conversation. So you can have a conversation, Katrina, on Neb's YouTube channel, or here he's given his website here and his phone number. So if you want to contact Neb, it's 404-548-8748. And
that's his email address as well.
Email as well. Okay, so let me put that up. And she says, go teach. She's loving this teaching. Katrina has a wonderful book that she wrote. And it's what's the name of the book again, Katrina? Stolen Intellect, I believe. And that's available on Amazon. Okay, and that's YouTube. Okay, that's your YouTube. Yes, that's a YouTube channel. And then Joy says, can you give some examples of how you were able to transmit and move the vibrations to bring a change? I don't have your number. Okay. Did you get that?
Oh, absolutely. The whole thing is like I have something called the CMT, the Cosmic Memory Technique. It's similar to NLP, Neuro Linguistic Programming. And when we're able to access the memory and the mind, right? The first thing that we want to do, we want to transmit, right, is we want to raise our vibration. We're going to increase our frequency, because frequency equals currency. Right. So we have to operate at a frequency that's higher than our circumstances that we want to change. But if we still keep emitting the same frequency that created the circumstances that we have that we hadn't changed yet, they ain't going to change. We call it the feedback loop.
Right.
Okay. So before we do that, it's really just making a conscious decision to meditate and making a decision that I'm going to operate at a higher level. And I always ask the self, the power of God in me, God, show me how to do this. Now, every time I do that, I get an answer. Now, let me tell you the catch-22 with that. It comes with instructions. And the more disciplined that you are to carry out those instructions, you nullify it and alleviate it quickly. But now, if you don't listen to your intuition, and you're in a position where you say, well, no, I don't want to follow those instructions, well, then we're making a conscious decision to keep the same circumstances that we're complaining about. So it's really interesting. It really is just the power of meditation and being able to say in our mind, quiet our mind, get to a quiet place, and see a grander version of ourselves. And I'll say this other thing to Joy. I'm big on self-image because if I'm a visionary and I'm projecting a holographic projection of mine, and that's the experience that I see, then that means my self-image is key in how that projection shakes out. So if I see myself as a victim, I'm not going to be victorious because I see myself as a victim of circumstance.
Yes, yes, yes.
If I see myself victorious, everything that's instructional wise is going to come to me. This is how you be victorious. This is how you change your behavior and do this, that, and the third. And then before you know it, you have victory in an area to accomplish something. Okay. So it's Neb, you can do Neb underscore Teharka. If you do the whole name, I don't know, it may come up, but if you do Neb underscore Teharka, you'll see it.
Yeah, I think if you put that name, it comes up on YouTube in a search. Thanks for your website, Joy says. Yeah, and her book is Stolen Intellect.
Yes.
Yes, okay. So yeah, thank you all for your comments. I love all these comments. Go ahead.
May I show the quick flyer? Can we
Yeah,
flash?
go ahead. Is
You
it here?
see it down here, it says Galactic 260, so people can maybe get a screenshot. Okay, take a screenshot of that. Oh, that's the wrong flyer. Hold on, because it don't have the address. So
what was it? 1563 Jose L. Williams Drive, Northeast Atlanta, 303. I think it's 17.
yeah, I'm gonna put that in the chat. The address will be in the chat in a second, but this is the flyer.
Okay.
And it's no financial cost. You know, come in and really embrace the other kin and see what happens. You never know, you might evolve and start resolving and dissolving some things that you hadn't been able to in some time. Are you going to do the prayer?
Yes, there's no question in my mind that coming to this event, you're going to evolve. Because it's so different from other events. If you're open to grow and learn new things and meet new people, then I think you can't help but evolve. So just come with an open mind and things will happen for you. This is a full moon, so I'm excited that we have had so many people in here joining us, even though Blog Talk didn't work. But we still have people here joining us and getting this information, which is what we need to be more and more involved in, sharing this information. I really think we'll have more impact on the wars, the endless wars in this earth, if more people learn the new calendar and start practicing telepathic skills.
Yes.
Because we got to end the endless, we don't got to. Let me stop there and say most of us would love to have an end to the wars. And there's something we can do to make it happen.
Yes.
Okay, you sent me the email. Thank you. And so I'm going to let Neb end this session with a prayer that I love. And if anyone's interested in getting this prayer, then contact me and I'll send it to you.
I actually have the prayer. If you see it at the bottom, you'll see if you bring it forward. Take this one down and bring it forward. Everybody can see the prayer when I say it. There we go. All right.
Take a screenshot.
Yes, take a screenshot and email us, and we'll email it to you. I'm looking forward to connecting with everybody. And this prayer really opens up the 7 chakras and the 7 radio plasmas and mental spheres to access higher consciousness. So let's go ahead and, recite the prayer. The prayer of the 7 galactic directions. From the east, house of light, may wisdom dawn in us so we may see all things in clarity. To face the north, from the north, house of night, may wisdom ripen in us so we may know all from within. From the West, house of transformation, may wisdom be transformed into right actions, so we may do what must be done. From the South, house of the eternal sun, may right action reap the harvest, so we may enjoy the fruits of planetary being. From above, house of heaven, where star people and ancestors gather, may their blessings come to us now. From below, house of earth, may the heartbeat of her crystal core bless us with the harmonies to end all war. And from the center, galactic source, which is everywhere at once, may everything be known as the light of mutual love. Ayum Hunaku Eva Maya E Maho. Ayum Hunaku Eva Maya E Maho. Ayum Hunaku Eva Maya E Maho. All hail the harmony of mind and nature. Ashe, Ashe, and Asheo. Thank you, Dr. V, for having us. And thank you, all of you who were listening. And we look forward to those of you who feel connected at the day out of time.
It's been my pleasure. And where did that go? It's been my pleasure. And Habeeb is going to give me a humongous hug when I see her this week. So I look forward to that. All right.
You know, Dr. V, myself
Yeah.
and myself and Baba Taharka, we compete with each other on who gives the best hugs. So I'm just prompting you right now, okay? I'm just letting you know right now.
Okay, hey, I'm ready. That sounds like a wonderful thing to experience. I don't get enough hugs, believe me. I have to fight for them. Okay, so our last comment, how beautiful and powerful. Yes. So we're going to say goodbye with our Female Solution Global closing. Everybody have a wonderful week. Don't get too caught up in the politics because it's just a clown show.
For the audio and video archive at www.thefemalesolution.com. On behalf of our team of radio hosts, I'd like to thank all of you who participated in today's discussions. And to our global family joining us from all around the world, we say thank you. To our family in China, xie xie. India, Dhanyavad. Japan, arigato. Korea, kamsamnida. Russia, spasiba. Germany, danke. Poland, dziękuję. France, merci. Spain, gracias. Italy, grazie. Egypt, shukran. Ghana, madasi. Nigeria, eshe. South Africa, ngiyabonga. Senegal, jaref. Kenya, asante. Israel, toda. Pakistan, shukriya. Afghanistan, tashakur. Saudi Arabia and Palestine, shukran. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Thank you, and may peace be upon you and the mercy of God and God's blessings.
And to all my yogi friends out there, namaste and sat nam. And aloha to all my brothers and sisters in Hawaii. Stand strong. We'll see you soon. And I'll see Neb and Tahib in Atlanta in a few days. So